In a bright jungle where the morning light painted the leaves like emerald glass, a young monkey named Miko greeted each day as if it were a brand new game. He woke with a bounce in his belly, a grin in his eyes, and a tail that never stopped twitching with excitement. The trees were his playground, the vines were his swings, and the wide, singing river was his mirror. Miko was clever and quick and endlessly curious, and he loved being all three at once. Yet, there was a tiny knot in Miko's cheerful rope of habits. He did not like to listen when elders gave advice. He trusted his leaps more than their lessons, and his speed more than their stories. When wisdom floated through the leaves, Miko let it drift by like a sleepy breeze. The jungle was a friendly place that taught with color and sound. Sunbeams stitched golden patterns on the ground. Parrots painted the air with feathers and laughter, and butterflies decorated the day with fluttering stitches of yellow and blue. In this busy tapestry lived not only playful youngsters like Miko, but also patient elders who had watched many seasons change. There was Nani, the elder monkey who remembered where the sweetest figs grew and which branches turned brittle in summer heat. There was Tova, the steady tortoise who knew the safest paths when rain made the soil slippery. And there was Orin, the wide-eyed owl who could read clouds like stories and whose gentle hoot sounded like a soft bell for bedtime. When they shared advice, they did it the way the river shared water, calmly, clearly, and always to help. Miko liked to think he already knew what he needed to know. When an elder reminded the young ones to test vines before swinging, Miko felt a fizz of impatience, because testing took time and time took away from fun. When someone spoke of waiting for fruit to ripen, he pictured the sweetest taste and could not keep himself from taking a fast bite. He wanted to be first to explore new branches, first to hop across stones by the river, and first to pop over the ridge to see what lay beyond the bamboo patch. He was full of good feelings, proud, excited, daring, and those feelings sometimes blocked the gentle path that good listening could have opened. The little problems began like mischievous fireflies, small and flickering. One morning, Miko raced along a line of thin vines without testing them. A vine sagged, he dropped into a bush of soft ferns, and up he popped wearing a leafy hat. It looked silly, which made the baby monkeys giggle, and Miko laughed too. Another day, he hurried to sample the earliest mangoes. They smelled delicious, but were still firm and sour, so his face scrunched like a squashed plum. He laughed again, even as he rubbed his tingling tongue, when Tova the tortoise nudged him toward the drier path along the river. Miko chose the shiny mud instead because it felt faster. He slid on his tummy and sprayed himself with chocolate-colored splatters that dried into funny shapes. All of this seemed harmless, and Miko gathered the moments like shiny pebbles to remember as jokes. But the elders noticed patterns the way birds notice currents. Nani watched the way Miko's quick choices brought quick tumbles. Tova watched the weather and the ground, and Orin watched the sky. They did not want to stop Miko from being joyful. They wanted to keep the joy safe so it could last. So they continued offering guidance, gentle as dew on leaves. They repeated the same simple wisdom: check the vine, wait for the fruit, choose the steady path, and pay attention when the sky speaks in gray. And Miko, full of fizz and fun, listened with his ears but not with his heart, which is the only way listening truly works. The season shifted, and with it came winds that combed the treetops and pushed ripples along the river's back. In the late afternoon, the jungle sometimes turned the color of cool tea. On one such day, Orin perched high and still, reading the sky's soft language. Thin, fast clouds hurried like birds late for roost. A shy rumble rolled in the distance. Orin's feathers puffed with concern. He knew these signs and wanted the youngsters near home before the first heavy drops stitched the rain together. He glided down and shared his quiet warning as kindly as ever. Nani repeated it, and Tova nodded with steady eyes. The other young animals tucked away their games and headed toward safe places. Miko felt a spark of disappointment, then a spark of daring. The wind made the vines swing higher, and to him that looked like a bonus. Miko decided to give himself one last grand swing, just one more swoop to make his heart feel like a bird at breakfast. He chose a vine that reached out over a patch of soft ground near the river, a place he had crossed many times. The vine had rubbed against a branch for weeks, thinning to a pale string in one spot. If he had tested it, he would have felt the warning, but he did not test. He was thinking about the rush of air and the tickle of speed, not about the quiet voices that loved him. The wind lifted, the vine bowed, and Miko leaped with a happy burst. For a second, he did feel like a bird. Then, the pale string gave way with a whisper, and the swing turned into a fall. Miko tumbled into the riverbank's deepest mud, a sticky pudding that grabbed his feet and hugged them tight. He tried to pull one foot out, and the other went deeper. He tried to twist, but the mud swallowed his tail's tip with a soft gulp. The wind hissed through the reeds. The first raindrops began to patter like tapping fingers, and the river's voice grew louder. Miko's brave feelings shrank into worried ones, surprised, embarrassed, a little bit scared. The small problems had gathered themselves into a bigger one, and now it was too late for giggles. Time in trouble moves in funny ways. It felt like many heartbeats passed before help arrived, but the elders had followed quickly because caring makes feet faster. Tova reached the edge of the mud with steady patience. Nani guided from the safer bank, her eyes warm and focused. Orin circled above, watching the flow of the river and the shakes of the grass, making sure the path they planned would be safe. They did not fuss or frown. They worked like a well-practiced song, slow, careful, true. Tova pressed a wide leaf onto the mud to spread Miko's weight, then another and another, making a floating path of green. Miko breathed with the rhythm of Tova's calm, steady pushes. Nani spoke with her eyes, reminding him to be still when stillness was wise, and to move only when guided. Orin timed the steps between wind's stronger breaths. With patience longer than the rain's temper, they helped Miko free one foot, then the other, then the tail with a gentle pop. Once on firm ground, Miko felt many feelings at once. He was relieved and safe, tired and shaky, grateful and sorry. He realized that the elders' advice had always been shaped like a hug, designed to protect, not to spoil his fun. He saw how his quick choices had turned little slips into a risky tumble, and how the elders' listening hearts had found him even while the sky was frowning. The rain softened, the wind gentled, and the jungle breathed out as if it too had been holding a deep breath. Back at the fig grove, Nani cleaned the last smear of mud from Miko's fur with a damp leaf. Tova rested under a fern where raindrops clicked like tiny drums, and Orin tucked his wings tight, satisfied that the clouds were already drifting away. Miko gathered his courage the way he used to gather ripe berries carefully, and with both hands. He lifted his eyes and let his apology shine like a small lantern. He felt sorry not just for the fright and the fuss, but for all the times he let laughter cover the lessons that could have kept him safer. He promised himself quietly and truly that he would begin again with new ears, the kind that listen for love inside advice. From that day onward, Miko remained. Miko playful, curious, and full of happy hops, but his play had new anchors. He tested vines with a gentle tug that made the leaves nod in approval. He learned to notice the color of fruit and the sweet smell that meant ready, and that waiting could be its own kind of fun, like watching the first stars blink awake. He watched Tova's careful feet and realized that slow steps could be strong steps. He looked to Arin's broad, calm eyes and read the sky like a friendly book. When clouds stacked like gray pancakes, he kept adventures near home. When the river ran fast and glassy, he chose the high path with the good stones. He did not stop being brave. He learned that brave and wise can hold hands. As the weeks slid into each other, like smooth pebbles, something lovely happened. The younger monkeys began to copy Miko's new habits. They tugged vines before swinging. They sniffed fruit and smiled when it was perfectly sweet. They waved at Tova and walked his safe paths in the rain. They peered up at Arin and learned the difference between playful breezes and bossy winds. Miko became a helper without trying to be a hero. He simply shared what he now knew in the same cheerful way he shared berries. When a very small monkey tried to rush across a wet log, Miko guided him to the drier stepping stones, and they both arrived with dry feet and big grins. When someone felt bored waiting for a mango to ripen, Miko told a silly story about his scrunched face the day he tried one too soon, and the waiting turned light and easy. The elders watched this gentle change with quiet pride. Nani saw Miko's tail flick with happy patience instead of restless hurry. Tova noticed the neat shape of Miko's footprints on safe ground instead of long, skidding streaks. Arin, perched on a favorite branch, saw a young monkey look up to greet the sky before choosing a game, and the owl's heart felt comfortably full. The jungle itself seemed to approve, too. The vines looked greener each morning, the river laughed with soft bubbles along the edges, and the parrots decorated the air with cheerful echoes. The whole forest felt like a classroom made of leaves and light, where everyone could learn while still being exactly who they were. On a golden afternoon, not long after the muddy trouble, the jungle celebrated a quiet, ordinary day, which is a wonderful thing to celebrate. The breeze carried the smell of ripe figs. New butterflies practiced their first flights, drawing loopy letters in the air. Miko climbed to a gentle height and rested on a thick branch, feeling the reassuring strength beneath him. He listened. He heard the hum of insects, the purr of the river, the soft creak of friendly wood, and, inside all those sounds, the tender rhythm of elders who cared. Listening did not make the world smaller. It made it bigger and brighter and safer. By evening, when the sun pressed warm kisses on the horizon and the sky turned peach and lilac, Miko felt proud in the best way. Not the kind of proud that puffs up and wobbles, but the kind that sits quietly and glows. He had learned a lesson shaped by kindness and kept by practice. He understood now that advice is like a map drawn by someone who has walked the path before. It does not steal the adventure. It shows you where the puddles hide and where the views are the grandest. He still loved to swing, splash, and explore, and he did all of it with ears tuned to wisdom and a heart that knew how to say thank you. The young ones grew, the elders smiled, and Miko's story floated on the breeze as a reminder that even the quickest feet need a thoughtful pause. Whenever a cloud gathered or a vine looked tempting or a shortcut gleamed, a youngster somewhere would remember the monkey who once fell into the mud and climbed out wiser, thanks to caring guidance and a promise kept. Moral of the story: always listen to elders. They see things you don't,